abusia for yes, I'm Mama Kwaba counseling time with Counselor D.Y. Donkoh. And then a marital and relationship solutions. Come home na yema counselor Akwaba Counselor. Thank you so much, Counselor. Enti umama kwenya na chese stories na amafo ede abano. Matimi ato me boase akinkan na chese.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. I'm always ready.
I know.
Let's go, please.
Right. See, Auntie Valerie, I would want you to talk to Counselor about this situation for me. It's a bit sensitive, and I don't know if such an information should go out, especially in a relationship that is about leading into marriage. Now, I have dated my fiance, soon to be husband, for a year and a half now. Now, my husband to be doesn't know just one thing about me, and that is I was born by a mentally unstable woman. My childhood wasn't the very best, one of the very best. Now, everything that I had to go through, walking with my mother, sleeping outside, and all there is to it, up until now, I do not even know who my father is. So instead of my mother, I introduced my friend's mother, who has also been very good to me, as my mother, and her father as my biological father. Now, there is something that is bothering me. I feel when he finds out about this secret of mine, he might decide not to want to marry me. Because one time he made a very, very sensitive comment that he thought was a joke, but for me, really hit me hard. But I had to keep on smiling just so he couldn't notice. Now, he said that in the olden days, there was a reason why families and parents would have to do investigations in families to ensure and know that that family is a type of family they could marry into. And that when they check and find out that there is sickness, madness, or something peculiar that is out of line in society, that trends in that particular family, the family member isn't allowed to marry in such a family. And he kept on talking about the fact that there are certain families that have bipolar, mental issues, and that is how come certain people up until now are free and do not have no traces in their family line. It is this current dispensation that things have been messed up. That is why we have problems and people giving birth to people in situations that are not solvable. Auntie Valerie, I love this man and I am scared. I don't even have an extended family. What do I do? Do I keep the secret or tell him? What if he leaves? How do I handle the heartbreak? Counselor, please help me.
You can be ashamed of who you choose, but you cannot be ashamed of what God has chosen. You can be ashamed of me. It depends on whatever reason. But you cannot be ashamed of your father and your mother because they were chosen by God. And I want the lady to understand that regardless of your mother's mental illness, be proud of your mother. Me wade boda ni ba na meye yi. Na me wade sebede na adwen ye adwuma ba na bofom. Ka me wade boda ni ba. Nobody pray and wish that they become mental. Abrabomu nsemo, eni wiase nsemo, ahohommo ni nyuma, eni adwerendwene, depression, stress, all these things coming together can make somebody have that mental illness. Anyway, sister Ediana Neni, my mother, is a mental mother because of maybe probably her appearance and the way she is and does things. Because it will say, yeah, no, none of my men said, what damn did that? Nana getting and kind that. But you will be so about dress come and the band's way. Now me come a chin my corner only there so that I will not deviate up. Now me catch the lady and he said, listen. Don't go choose your friend's parents and present them to whoever you are about to marry. You are not married though. you are about to marry and say that I'm ashamed of my mother because but Danny. I don't want to even say sabi na adwene mu nka no na me maame ne me papa ni na o magina gye anuonyam na nka nyankuru pon pe se wo na ofiri ba yi a na obunya anuonyam nka wo na ofiri ba. God will not choose a mental ill woman to give birth to you.
True.
Maybe conclude no ma bon poa na make say nobody should be ashamed of their parents regardless of their situation. Don't. Na onyame nyansam no na wo bia ye mistake a na wo nyame nim se sebo papa no maame be da maame be ye mental na wo ye mental a wo be wo de a wo nye mental.
Okay.
Number 2, you are talking about history bi o keka ho say teteno na abusuafo ko ye abusia komo was mental abusia mental abusia bitumi ye mental ba ko mo nye mental ba obobra. And yet somebody can marry that very person and life will be very well. There is something also in somebody who's watching his family that somebody will not like. If you are not mentor, ufie yanwo, ufie yanwade ntem, ememe nisika, mo wadi egu, sabi bon 1, bon 2, bon 3. Something is wrong with everybody's family. And so, gentleman, no wadi a lady need to be recording ni maami asabi when ya adwinmu yare esi no. One also has a problem in his family. Eti media na me itra konye so to for as a counselor. Now me catch a lady and say, it is not even late. Thank God you are still not married. Go back and say, listen. I felt ashamed that I'll talk about my mother.
Okay.
But I think I've been able to gather the courage to come to you and tell you that, me mama, what woman, I mean, here me better no. Now, me patrol there was now, mammy put something, if you are not more them. I want you say, or boredom. A woman can give birth and die. O de nyame adom kra de no wanwu ote ase basabi wanya adwum yare ebi kra na wo mpereso akola bia ne de ode bawo ebia na wo mpereso wo mmereso nko na amaame na adwun mu be kaaye enti wo kra you are the cause and the reason mekanisa so wunti na amaame aye sabi. Thank you. Enti why would you be ashamed to tell your boyfriend say me maame sabi wanya adwun mu yare? And so I just want to encourage you, it is not late. Go back and say, I'm sorry I lied, but I want you to know this. The reason why I lied is because of what you said. But my dream and say, I cannot throw my mother away. So I'm telling you the truth that me mommy, when you are genuinely, if this guy genuinely love, regardless of your mother's situation, is going to stand with you, hold your hands to fight that battle for your mother, to make sure that your mother gets better. Eti oba ntimi remember be odo etimi show sa keke ade a o ma me wa dwum yare ntimi de bi so say ye ma ye be wo so be bodam. I mean, what is the probability crowd to say Boba will be a modern? And what is also the blessing to say, or no guy to crab no one will be from the other one and only making a bottom. This life is all about the grace and the basis of God.
True.
This life, but me I won't kwala or you're hoarding, no more won't kwala sebe, or munina ya lefo. Me say about boy a boy. Unyini na nante obanso nante anu wada nyamiase na nye obiana de banante onya boni. But life comes with a lot of challenges that sometimes you cannot question the fairness of God. Eti baby sister if you want to see say de nyame pe na oyebi enye nyame mpo ne pe na sebe obronsam adwuma ho na wo firiba. But it's glorious that today you become so beautiful, so wonderful, so glorious that you can look at yourself and tell the person present, your pastor, and say, this is how far the Lord has brought me. He took me from nowhere and has brought. Is it not a wonderful thing? It tells us what the Lord has done, and we can see where he will take you to. So for me, the lady should not be ashamed of the predicaments of the mother. She should rather rejoice and tell the guy, this is where I'm coming from. This is my mother. Do you love me? You love me? You love my dog. Thank you.
Nti ohima na kire se counselor futu ode ma wada romana onso wa fa bi e dia to kotodwem pepepe. Right, let's read the second story na to aso pepepe. O say, Auntie Valerie, I'm a young gentleman of 32 years and I have been fixing my hair right from childhood up until now. Now, I met this young lady, we've been speaking for 6 months, and this woman is telling me to cut my hair if I love her. Auntie Valerie, this is somebody I met just 6 months. I live with my family for 32 years. I am on my own though, but nobody seems to have a problem with it. She tells me that she can't even introduce me to her family and that people with that kind of hairstyle are seen in a certain light when it comes to her family and even society at large. And that she wants the very best for me. She would want to groom me by making sure I have a cut and look like a gentleman. Auntie Valerie, I feel she's asking for too much. I am no Samson. It's not as though my strength or power lies in my hair. But don't you think she's going too far? In a relationship, are there certain things that you leave it as it is? And if you can't, you move? Does this situation call for a breakup? Can I decide to move away because I am unable to meet this? But then again, I have come to appreciate her, love her, and I would want to do this life with her. Counselor, please help me.
The bear man in the body tea.
But why?
And what do you mean?
But why?
And I'm be business and what did you use no energy and say, bear dreadlocks and I'm a bomitia. Go be divorced, Nana. Because what did they
Right.
And as he said, we're making decisions. She said, you're bomiti that but star where I am.
Right.
The same person be bomiti. And as a member of member. And also can divorce a unit one. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But let me address this issue.
Okay.
Nevertheless, as I believe in grooming and then, believing in haircuts, even though I believe in haircuts, I still also believe that to make trying to come and saying that this lady is giving pressure to the man. No, we're trying to come out, but the heart can be ugly.
Right.
I also believe that somebody can keep that hairstyle and be a very disciplined man.
True.
And so then let's balance it and see that the lady should understand the growth and the process of this young man. That a choir, you ever say at 10 or London, America, Canada, a tray. I've entered into a pastor's house. So for penny be fee. Now the babo a penny. Does it make him go to hell? Ask yourself. Does it make the young boy go to hell? Simply because the papa is suffering with bonity. If you're American, you're the number. Say, no, Dad, I'm not taking her off. That's what I like, man. Who do America now? Opportunity to kucha or freko tiba eja. Oh, you're suffering about that. You preach yourselves. Because that is the right and that is how they are groomed and brought up. Now, I conclude by saying to the lady, talk to the gentleman to understand his perception towards haircut. To know why he believes in it. And yes, something. But san why na fatano. Ofri so kucha yesakola. And I said down kata, he's going to look ugly or something else. Or no, so no. If you love him the way he is and you understand what he's going to say to you by the tina, then fine. If you think, sister, untumi mpebema wa boniti, oboniti a ose woba, and oboniti a yose droshima. Sister, walk away and leave the gentleman alone. Because this is what the guy is. This is not who he is. This is what he is. He was groomed like that, and he's not ready to cut, change, shape. No. And watch us. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. And this is how I want it. And so please, I want to encourage the lady. Take your time, sit with him, talk to him, ask him questions about if this is how he wants to keep it. And sister, one in the bottom is a quay bema. Obuade. Ya wadini yokua. Eyefe. And we shuma. What is the haircut about?
Sisi ana bema na na true story ne ba yo nti
bema na true story ne ba kase oba na woni ne te no oba ne so penity and me so me dane na san ka de me ka ye nyina akere karaje ne say this is your way of life. Right. This is how probably you were brought up. You are used to the star. Yeah. You know, me say me tina and come a barbering shop or imamia. Baby I go be in bia where you come on obi be praise me me comfortable because I feel like sa guy no on wo yi me cat na stand no no I feel comfortable. Right. It you be catch them say my waro men ko sa barbering shop na meko I charge a ring. It what I'm saying to the ladies is that gentlemen, this is you. Explain. Reason. Talk to her. Let her understand where you're coming from. And this is who you are as in person and as in nature. Life, no. Now, or no about in this side is okay. Me pe be more bonity. Fine. Or don't it dear. But there be a mekawa say ye bibia would do bia the yid. Ye bibia so efe bia na yefa. And then ye bibia so weni bia and I was out those so. Sometimes you may feel like you love her. But if she says no, simply because of your hairstyle, or pebema where you sweat, down cut, how you broke, only she. The kumanye. Oh, no. But Bema waboni tidie. Ofiri say the society, you know, this society has a
right.
perception.
Osuro say odene beko fie.
Oh, they have
na
perception.
Akofa nsem bebre aba na ontimi nkyire mu nkyire ne maame ne papa. On say at a first glance, unhu obi say, "Eh, na die ni." Na then why
So it is the duty of the lady to tell the mother and the father who the gentleman are going for. So the hairstyle doesn't change them. And so for me, I believe in that. It's grooming the camera. But I also believe that a tracer does not necessarily stand for the character and attitude of people.
Osam Busa Bibi very prevalent in the story. Or say, how far can you go? What are certain things that you can't change about somebody? Onone per se, onone chere said, this is his hair.
Yeah.
Or the free in kwara brim no di where she will be 6 months down the line. This person wants to introduce her to her family, but onone you're ready on that stance because you say and obusa say level ben u date obi a normal ben na ubetimi asesa na wontimi nsesa wonipa na ho
ade a ubetimi asesa sombo suban ene ne ye your character and your attitude. This one doesn't matter. For me ebi anabia me na mani bi anase bi wadi mu a ebi am na me krasini. But for me that me ba adoma ko Daniela ba akwa baba ya daddy have somebody what they ba ya guy na bonitia na me assess guy na mu say ha akwa boniti ba chalo discipline from a very disciplined and good organized well cultured well mannered good morals ade Adam come see the hair the guy will kill you. Why? How bad is he? I hope you understand. But the akwa bi so about akwa no wa yi ni chi down about akwa no enchen wa twitu enchen wo twi acid enye no the enchen no the barbering shop machine so so for me that is what I'm saying. How far can you go? Subani ni ya me me suban. So you can't look at somebody with tattoo on all his body. Everybody conclude and say tattoo with there akwa no be criminal.
Eno na counselor ede atu ani medofo or say ene oba na nkasa ene ntwetwe nkomo manenti ase say this is who you are. You find a sense of belonging in something like that. Manenti ase na oba no mom nko chirem enchire ne ma ne papa oba wo pebe ma de no kure nim nyame ni. They stand, they would speak and you wouldn't have any problems because wo ena one wo bebo bra no na wo wasem ene wo so tie se ne be ya asetena ne bibia. Let me read the last story. Was it Auntie Valerie? I have dated this woman for the past 2 years. I'm looking forward to getting to marry her. But the thing is, I have never been intimate with her ever in my life. To avoid any instances of that situation, I try my possible best not to invite her over in a place where we are secluded. We are always out in the open for functions and date places where there are lots and lots of people. Now, my girlfriend all of a sudden is acting in a certain manner I do not seem to comprehend. In the beginning, it seemed as though she was being a little bit problematic up until I took my time to understand exactly where she is coming from. She told me that it's about time that we got intimate and that it is going to solidify our bond. Moreover, we have decided to get married, and she doesn't see the reason we shouldn't do that in the first place. Counselor, I'm a bad boy. I've been there before. It's not as though I do not know what there is to it, but I decided not to touch this one. Wait until I marry her before I touch her. But the way and manner she's going about things, my fear is that she may try to do something with somebody else or be peer influenced to do certain things that would not be right for our relationship in the first place. I love this girl. Mind you, she's a virgin. Fresh tear rubber. I don't know where she's going, how much she can take, and the haste. Counselor, what do I tell her? Because then, if I tell her to wait, she would tell me to quickly get married to her. And I'm telling her to relax. And that's when I am ready, I will do the needful. Counselor, please help me.
Don't allow pressure to change your values. And I repeat, don't allow pressure to change your values. Values are values through self-discipline. You've made up your mind that I've been a bad boy before, but I think that this very beautiful young girl, I'm not touching. Please keep in touch with yourself. Don't lose yourself and become indisciplined. You will be disappointed that you set values for yourself, but you couldn't meet it.
Right.
The lady is a virgin, possibly, perhaps. Other people are telling her, one man one na obejao. One man one da obejao. Pressure wako. Number two, ono da, ono break waka. Waka. Timane no one da, ono da. Ono da, ono nya pam.
Right.
Ono nya pam. Covenant to. Enti, in some sister you know, na agent say, wow, then let me give him pressure to do it. She. Na ni na bia na nye adwuma. Na be wari na wie number call them na opeja to. Now, so she's oya virgin. Remember that. And so you can see that her world is so green that only she the can. It sounds so right. So it's like, let me do it. So
right.
It is up to the disciplined young man or the man that has values or has set values for himself to sit there and say, listen, I could have done it a long time. Between what 1, 2, 3, I got 9 rounds a day. But I have just determined or I've decided to myself that what I mean, I want to marry you with decency, with that God-fearing, atmosphere. I want to marry you for you to feel good so that we'll be blessed by explain things to her for her to understand. I don't know what to make a such no room. Or you're green. She doesn't know a thing. So the guy should be, once he knows what's up, the guy should be able to sit and say, listen, don't listen to anybody. Bet you me know what. Okay, now I know that's my way. Hey, we're breaking virginity now. Shake on me, that is it. So I don't want to make a mistake by taking advantage over you or for you to feel like me know what there be man wado e wado and I know what. And I said, simple, I'm my son man wado one when say my your bonny. I think when you say this to her, she will call back and understand where you're coming from.
But interesting, say, up until now, our society is glorifying something which is negative to be good, and the good things are rather being turned to be bad.
I want to sit here and then say this and emphatically say, listen, sex doesn't make good marriage or good relationship.
It doesn't.
No. You may enjoy it according to your body. You may enjoy it, but it doesn't make the relationship successful something. And that is why people end up becoming extremely hurt and offended because they feel like they've given you right to their body and you've used and dumped them. But the truth is that sex or no sex, sex doesn't make marriage and a relationship perfect.
Right.
There is more to it than just sex. So I'm begging our family, please don't think that when we be dating, no one that any on. I just want to wonder. No dance one the chile say what do. I mean anybody can have sex with anybody. I mean people can even sit and say that Charlie, mutual understanding.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, Charlie. Offer me a friend na fire. Me for me from my fire. And they are doing it. Doesn't mean they love each other. No. So I'm pleading with this family. Sister Virgin, keep yourself. Brother, value. Why? All right, add more value. Don't